Tua Tagovailoa is a quarterback in his second year, and he's gone through a lot of issues. He's battled health issues, he's battled with his team, wanting to trade him and get a quarterback who has 22 sexual assault allegations against him. The Dolphins have been open in their wanting of Deshaun Watson, and they drafted Tua 5th overall 2 years ago. Tua's in his second season, and he's played pretty well, but not well enough to secure a starting spot and not well enough to be considered ahead of Deshaun Watson. In this video, I'm going to talk about why Tua is the guy, and Tua is exactly what the Dolphins need, and the Dolphins put themselves in this position by drafting Tua, and Tua's been exactly what he was expected, and this is as good as Tua's going to be. Tua is not a star quarterback, and he's probably not going to be. He's a guy that's going to come in, and he's going to do a very, very, very good job managing the game. He's going to make the right reads, he's going to make some good throws, he's going to be accurate, and he's going to put you in positions to win games. He's not going to win them himself. He's a quarterback from Alabama. This is what happens from quarterbacks from Alabama. As we've seen with Mac Jones and the Patriots this season, when the team around him is good, Mac Jones wins games. The team around him is bad, Mac Jones doesn't win games. He's not the reason you lose. He's not the reason you win. He just puts you in a spot where you can win if everything else goes according to plan. When the Dolphins' defense has been good, last year, they were winning games with Tua as their quarterback. When the defense was bad, beginning of this year, because of injuries to Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, the Dolphins weren't very good. We saw this with Jacoby Brissett, who turns the ball over more than Tua does and takes sacks. Tua avoids sacks and doesn't turn the ball over. That's all you expect from him as a quarterback. He puts you in positions to win. The Dolphins' special teams has not been as good as they were last year, so their punting not being as good with Tua not turning the ball over and punting on drives where you don't really get anything going, their bad punting doesn't help the team out. When they've had the defense, they've been pretty dominant. Coming off a big 33-10 win against Panthers today, a big win against the Ravens where Tua came in halfway through, a win against the Jets, and a win against the Panthers today. These two games, Tua had over 80% completion percentage. This is the first time in Dolphins history where a quarterback had back-to-back games over 80% completion percentage. Tua today against the Panthers was at 87%. He only threw 4 incompletions. He only had 1 touchdown, but the Dolphins ran it in for 2 touchdowns. He's played great, ran the ball when he needed to, did the job, got a ton of first downs, and really he didn't put the ball in harm's way once. It was just a great job doing what the team needed to do to win the game. If we take a look at Tua's game log, we see today against the Panthers, he was 27 for 31, 230 yards with 87.1 completion percentage. He averaged 7 yards per attempt and as long as 57. Now, this was a catch and run by Jalen Waddle, but the point is, Tua threw the ball perfectly in stride if you watched it, and it led to a great game. Against the Jets, he was 27 for 33, 273 yards, and 81.8% completion percentage, averaged 8.3, had 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, and a long of 65. Now, against the Panthers, he was sacked twice, did have a fumble, and a couple bad catches of snaps and bad snaps, but those aren't on him. But against the Jets, he was sacked only. He was not sacked. As we've seen this season, Tua has been sacked no more than 2 times per game. He's a couple games where he's been sacked twice, a couple games sacked once, and a couple games where he hasn't been sacked at all. He does a great job working around the pocket and getting the ball out. When we watched Jacoby Brissett play, if you're following the Dolphins, they struggled a lot. We saw Brissett struggle a lot and get sacked because of his inability to move around the pocket. This is something Tua is really good at, and it's certainly helped the Dolphins out. If you take a look at the fourth quarter, Tua has been excellent in the fourth quarter. He is second among all quarterbacks in completion percentage in the fourth quarter at 75%. The only person ahead of him is Kyler Murray. He's also second in pass yards per attempt at around 9.2, also second to Kyler Murray. So he's excelled in the fourth quarter, which is what you need your quarterback to do. He's been great at putting his team in position to win games. If you look at the games the Dolphins lost this season, they lost to the Jaguars on a field goal, they lost to the Falcons on a field goal. Those are their 2 really bad losses, and these are not at all on Tua. This is when the defense was struggling. The defense has been much better, and won't have those issues. Tua and the Dolphins have a chance to really go on a run, and if Tua can continue to play the way he's playing, they will go on a run, and he'll probably solidify himself as a starter for the future. In my opinion, that's what I think he should be. He's been good enough to be the starter, and if the Dolphins weren't as good as they are with their defense, with a team that has playoff expectations, Tua would be fine. If Tua were on a team that wasn't expecting to make the playoffs, let's say he went to the Jets, everyone would love him. Everyone would say how he'd be such a great quarterback, and he's doing such a great job. But since the Dolphins have these expectations, they need them to win now. The Dolphins' upcoming schedule has games against the Giants, the Jets, the Saints, the Titans, and the Patriots. These are their final 5 games, and all of them are realistically winnable. The hardest game will probably be against New England because New England's been playing great, but the Saints and the Titans are both road games as well. Playing the Giants and Jets at home should give you the chance to win both of those games, and with a bye in between after the Giants game, before the Jets game, you win both of those games, you're right back at 500. You head into the game against the Saints with a chance to win with no Alvin Kamara possibly, and no real quarterback with Trevor Siemian playing quarterback. Then you have the game against the Titans, who struggled today against the Patriots without Derrick Henry. And then you have the Patriots at home. Now we've seen the fast, the Dolphins find ways to win this game. Take a look back to the Miami Miracle. The Dolphins are playing that game against New England with a chance to make the playoffs. It'll be a very interesting game. And if Tua can pull off a five wins in a row, additional to the 4 game wins that they're currently on, there's no way you can tell me that he won't be the starter next year, no matter how available Deshaun Watson becomes.